Hey friend, welcome to Janique TV. My name is Janique and I love that you were able to make it to my video today. Okay, before we even get started, I ask that you go ahead and click the like button on your way in and also subscribe to my channel if this is your first time here. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate you and I'm excited to hear what the Lord has for you today. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about not fighting the plans that God has for your life. If you know me, you know my favorite thing to say is that God is intentional. He's intentional. If you know that song, that's my song. But I'm gonna link it below. If you never heard it before, you need to hear it. I'm telling you, you're missing out. But God is intentional, and everything that happens to us happens for us, and every single thing that happens to us throughout our lives is for a reason, right? It's not up to us to determine what the reason is. And in the Bible, there's a great example of this happening in the book of Job. I told you guys in a previous video, my gym talk video, if you haven't watched it yet, you need to go back and watch it right now because I said some great things in there, some little nuggets, and you get to watch me work out like you winning. So it's a win-win. But I said in that gym talk video that I've been reading a Bible plan, or I'm following a Bible plan for the year. And right now they have us in the book of Job. So we just finished the book of Job today. And the book of Job is a story that I've read in the Bible already, but this time that I read it, it hit different. I don't know if it's because I'm being more intentional with the way I read the Bible, or if because the circumstances in my life kind of appeal to what's happening in the book. But I think it's important to remember when you're reading the Bible, put yourself in the story. Like, just add yourself to the story. The Bible is kind of telling you about yourself because God is talking to you while you're reading. So don't think of it as a character in the story. Kind of put yourself in Job's shoes, right? Job was experiencing a lot. He was experiencing a lot because the devil was testing him, to see if he would turn away from God. And God was testing him as well, of course. In the book of Job, if you haven't read it before, Job is going through a lot. He has lost his family, his money, his friends. He's lost everything really in his life that he's been so proud of for years, and he's been a faithful servant of God forever. And the devil wanted to see or prove to God that if he took everything away that God had given to Job, then Job would turn away from God. But that just wasn't the case in the story. And I think it's so important to recognize what Job did at the end of the story, right? Now, I am going through something in my life where actually a friend of mine just passed away recently. This is actually a shirt that I bought from her. I gotta see my microphone. So it just made me feel closer to her today because I'm talking about her in this video, but I'm also giving a message. But she passed away recently. She was only 28 years old. She was so young. Rest in peace to Tina. You really didn't deserve what happened to you, but I think it's important to recognize that when God does something in our lives, it's for a reason. It's not really up to us to try to understand the reason. Sometimes we'll never get an answer to the reason that things are happening in our life, but we have to trust that they're working for our good, right? It's okay to process your feelings, as Job did in the book. He processed his feelings. He talked things out with 3 of his friends, and he really kind of got things off of his chest and expressed his frustration with God. And God is still okay with you expressing frustration, but what he doesn't want you to do is give reasons for things that are happening in other people's lives as well as your life, because you really don't know. Some things happen beyond our understanding, and we really don't understand why things happen until something happens to us where we'd be like, if these things hadn't lined up like this, then I wouldn't be here right now. So a key point in the story is when Job's family members were taken. They killed his kids, and they took his wife, and don't quote me on the wife part, but everybody had left him. He didn't have nobody left, right? So the Bible, if you read the Bible before, it's a lot of knowledge to comprehend. Not only comprehend, but to take in, to remember. So God doesn't expect us to remember the Bible, but write the word on our heart. That way we kind of remember what the meaning behind the story was. So in terms of the book of Job, they took his family, and this was important to recognize. When I told you a friend of mine was taken recently, she was too soon because somebody, decided to go ahead and do that to her. And, instead of being emotionally mature, I don't know what happened in the room, of course, but instead of being emotionally mature and everybody still being here, he chose to be emotionally immature, and now my friend has lost her life. So this is what I really want to say. Process your feelings, especially men process your feelings. I know we like to grow up and tell men, like, it's weak to cry and it's weak to, express yourself. We like to tell people that in general. People think it's not okay to express yourself, or people think people are going to have a problem if you tell somebody how you're feeling. But if you tell somebody how you're feeling, instead of holding it all in, it won't get bottled up and then it won't erupt and things like this won't happen. Again, I don't know what happened exactly, but I can put 2 and 2 together, right? Being emotionally mature is so important. I talked about this in my last video as well. So if you haven't watched my last video yet, you know, about intuition, you need to go watch that right now. Okay, it's important. But you know, you have to process your feelings. So when things happen to you, when people hurt you, when people talk bad about you, when somebody disappoints you, you have to process the feeling. You can't just, you know, shut it down or act like you don't feel that way when you do feel that way. Now, it's one thing to act that way towards a person because you don't want to let everybody in, right? You don't be like, if somebody hurt you, if a man hurt you, you don't got to pour your heart out to him and stuff like that. Like, nah, because he is going to think you weak, okay? So don't do that, but express yourself to yourself, okay? Just be honest with yourself, because when you lie to yourself, things can really happen. When you're triggered, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen. So process your feelings, people, okay? And again, my friend has passed away, and I just wanted to really send a message to her people, because God, you know, when things happen in our life, everything is intentional and it's for a reason. We don't know what the reason is yet, but it will be revealed in time, if it is revealed. Sometimes it's not, but it should be revealed in time. The part about Job losing people in his family, right? Them dying, but the devil did this, right? So it's kind of like God is giving us an insight on why things happen in our lives. Does that make sense? Like, I hope it makes sense to you. With the book of Job, God is like giving us an insight on why things happen in our life, right? It's essentially telling the story of the devil taking things from us that God has given us, right? In order to get us to turn away from God. It's not God doing it. God is not doing it, but it's all still a test, right? When Job lost the people in his family, I personally have not lost any family members. Thank God. I'm so blessed. I'm not really close with them anyway, but I'm so blessed that I've never been to a funeral or anything before. Like, this was my first candlelight that I went to for my friend that passed away, but I don't normally do things like that. Like, it never happens to me. I'm so blessed that I don't lose people in my life, but Job lost people, right? I don't know how it feels to lose somebody, so I can't imagine the pain that people go through. And my friend had a twin, so I just can't imagine how her twin feels, you know, after this happening to her. So when things like that happen, it's so easy to turn away from God. It's so easy, because that's what the devil wants you to do. Oh my God, I got my AirPods in. I got my AirPods in. Let me just check and make sure the volume is on the video though. My bad, y'all. I had to take my AirPods out and make sure my video was filming. Everything good. We good. But what I was saying, it's so easy to turn away from God when things happen in our life, because that's what the devil wants us to do. That's where the testing comes in at. The test is, are you going to continue to follow God and believe him for what he says in his Bible, in his book, the book that he's given us to read and to guide our lives and govern our lives? Or are you going to turn away from God and blame him for the things that are happening in your life, like the devil wants him to do? Kind of like really think about that. Like, the devil wants you to turn away from God. That's why he's doing things in your life. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Okay, he's stealing blessings from you. He's killing those around you. Okay, and he's destroying everything that you have built in terms of a life, right? That God has blessed you with. But God, at the end of the book of Job, he gave everything back to him. Double portion, double what he had before. He gave everything back. You know what I'm saying? You have to believe God for his promises and stay down until you come up. It doesn't matter what happens in your life. It doesn't matter who you lose. It's so sad and unfortunate when we lose people in our lives. And again, I can't really imagine the pain because I haven't gone through it before, but I can empathize with people. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine the pain, but I couldn't imagine, right? Because at the same time, I haven't really felt it before. So I can't really fathom what you're going through, but I kind of have an idea, right? So don't turn away from God. Trust the plans that he has for your life, right? You might lose somebody in your family, but at the same time, you gain so much more family. You gain more sisters, because there were so many people at the candlelight last night, y'all. Like, there were so many people who came to support Tatina, you know, and really just mourn her death. And it's just so amazing to see the support that they gave her twin sister. You know what I'm saying? And I let her know, you can call me anytime, because that's what we're here for, to be here for people. There's a reason that I met Tatina, and there's a reason she introduced me to her sister. I wouldn't have been able to show her any support if this had happened and I hadn't met her sister. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been as much of a bond or a feeling between us as it was last night if I hadn't met her. So God sets everything up in our lives for a reason. People, I think it's so unfortunate, especially when somebody passes away young, right? But at the end of the day, we have to also remember that People come here and do what they come to do, okay? If it's your time to go, that means you came and did everything that you were supposed to do in this life, and now it's time for you to live another life, right? I think it's important also to understand we do have free will, right? But everything we decide to do, every decision we make leads us down a different path. And it's important to choose the path that God wants for you, okay? Don't fight the plan God has for your life, okay? You lose somebody, okay. You have to process your feelings and keep going. Keep going. That's what the devil wants you to do, is to stop following God, to stop moving forward, to stop believing, you know what I'm saying? To get depressed and start drinking, you know what I'm saying? Start smoking all day, just, you know, start stealing, start hating people, start being the worst part of other people's lives, to turn on your friends and your family when things like this happen to you. That's what the devil wants you to do. He wants you to turn away from God, but God is here to remind you, okay, that that's not necessary. It's all a test. At the end of the day, we will be reunited with the people that we lose in this life, right? But this is a physical plane. We can't be too attached to things that happen here on earth, because this is not forever. In the Bible, they talked about people living 800 years and stuff like that. But we have to think about why our life expectancy is only about 120 years. You know what I'm saying? This is not forever. This is not permanent. There will be another place we all go and meet up and reconvene. And we can't get too attached to anything here on earth. You know, our people are our people. But at the end of the day, we got to keep moving, keep pushing. It's so important to keep going. Process your feelings and keep going, people, okay? Okay, that's what God will want you to do. Okay, it's important not to assume why things happen in people's life. Okay, my friend, she definitely did pass away, but there's something bigger at play here. Okay, for her family. I don't know what's going. I don't know what it is. I can't even fathom what it is, because it's beyond my comprehension. It's about God. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even fathom what God is about to do in their lives, but I know it's something big as long as they believe. I hope they catch a whiff of this video. You know, She said something to me last night. It's real intimate, but it's going to be in regards to the next video that I do. So make sure you stay tuned. But it tells me that God is showing people what he's doing in my life. You know, it shows me, or it told me that God reveals to people who I am in the spirit, because what she said to me last night, God, what she said to me last night, like, I've been playing it over and over in my head since last night, and I had to come on here and do a video. I couldn't not do a video today after hearing that. You know what I'm saying? After hearing what I heard last night. But God is so intentional. He is so real. Be strong. I know things happen to you, but things happen to you for a reason. It is all working for your good. Okay? When we lose people, it's amazing that we got to experience them, and we have to be grateful for that. We have to be grateful for the memories they left us with. She left behind a child. We have to be grateful for the child that she left with us. You know what I'm saying? At least they have a piece of her still here, even though she's not present. You know what I'm saying? And it's all a test at the end of the day. It's a part of God's plan. We don't know what's going to happen in this life, but I believe that it's something working for our good 24/7. Even when things happen that are bad, they're working for our good. We just have to believe, and we'll get double portion like Job did, okay? I'm a believer. Double. Hey. All right, I do have a Bible verse for you guys. Now, in the book of Job, Job's friends try to tell Job why they think things were happening to him, or why he was, you know, in such a horrible place in his life. You know, they kept saying because he sinned that he didn't repent. He had to be such a big sinner in order to have a life the way he had, because he was up, and then God did not do this, but he allowed the devil to do this. He gave the devil permission. Thank you, God. Listen, the devil has to get permission from God to test us. Okay? This book told it all. Like, this book really lets you in on the background of why bad things happen in our lives, right? It's all a test. Okay? The devil has to ask God for permission. Okay, so if he tested you right now, if things are going bad in your life, if you're going through a lot of tribulations, a lot of trials, right? You have to start being grateful that God thinks you a great servant, and that he will even allow tests to happen in your life. The bigger the test, okay, the bigger the test, the bigger your purpose in this life. I promise you, okay? So let me start I'm in the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 1. This is the part where the Lord speaks, okay? Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. He said, "Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge?" Let that verse settle in your spirit. Ooh, okay. The Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. The storm that's going on in your life is temporary. Storms don't last forever. The sun comes out sometimes, but the Lord speaks to you in your storm. He keeps you going. He spoke to Job in the midst of his storm. Okay, storm is it's symbolic, okay, for a trial that you're going through. Okay, some people's storms are bigger than others, but he spoke to Job out of the storm. Just keep in mind, God will talk to you through your storm. You have to be anchored in Jesus through your storm. That way you can pass your test, okay, and see brighter days. He said, who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Okay, you cannot tell somebody why something is happening in their life. Okay, I just told y'all it's a test, but the book tells me that. Okay, so this is where I'm getting my information. This is where I'm getting my information from. But you know, people try to justify why things are happening in your life, and they try to say that you're a sinner, and they try to say that you're doing this and you're doing that, but you know it's a test. Let me tell a personal story. Like, something happened to me a couple months ago, and when it happened to me, the guy who I was seeing at the time, he tried to tell me that it was happening to me because of this, and that. Like, and I was just so calm the whole time that it was happening. I was just chill. God gave me back what I lost. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't understand why I was so calm throughout the midst of that happening to me. When if it would have happened to him, he would have lost it. Right? And that's a lot of people. I'd be so calm when things happen because I know it's a test. This is not going to get me to turn away from God. Like, anything that happens to me, at the end of it, I say I still believe. When it happens, I be like, I still believe. I don't care. I still believe God for what he said to me. I still believe God for the promises he's written to me in this book, because this book is for me as your Bible is for you. Okay? Let me say, first page, what I wrote. First page of my Bible. I can't believe I'm all in the Bible like this. I never thought this would be my life. I never thought this would be my life. To Janique from God. Can y'all see that? This is what my Bible says. This is my book. But he obscures my plan. Who is this that obscures my plan with words without knowledge? Don't try to explain to somebody else why things are happening in their life, because you don't know. It's beyond your comprehension. It's beyond your understanding. Just know that it's all working for their good. Support your people in times of their trials and their tribulations, okay? Don't try to tell them what they should be doing to get out of that, because only God knows. You don't. Okay? I hope you got something out of this message. I hope this video really resonated with you. If it didn't, that's okay. It's not the time for you to hear this message yet. Okay? But I believe that God brought you to this video for a reason, especially if you're still watching. Okay? I appreciate you so much, and I can't wait for you to hear the next video that I have. Okay? Thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Janique. This was Janique TV, and I'll see you next time. Okay? Trust God. Trust the Lord. Stay with the Lord. Stay with God. Ace.